I've been fooled, and I want to tell you about it. So we know that protein powders are commonly used by those looking to improve muscle and bone, right? And to be clear, I prefer people to get protein through whole foods, not the grocery store, the actual foods. However, if we're optimizing our bone health, we're optimizing muscle, we need to understand that sometimes we need to consume a supplement, sometimes we need protein powder because it's hard, especially early on, to get all of the protein we need from whole foods, just figuring out how to cook that food, how to consume it, how to improve our gut so we can actually digest it. But if we're going to consume a supplement, if we're going to consume a protein powder, we want to know that what we are consuming is safe, efficacious, and worth the money. So one of the products that I've been recommending, over the last probably 18 months, is not what I thought it was. And I want to set the record straight and deliver some more clear recommendations because I think I have put a number of people forward on the wrong path here. And I definitely want to catch this and correct the direction of this statement around protein powder. But before I get there, I want to know, what protein powder are you using, or are you using one? Leave that comment for us in YouTube. Okay, so here's the deal. Protein powders are not ideal, any of them, but commonly used and even by me. So even though I am able to consume quite a bit of protein, I still find that I need a protein powder in order to optimize numbers, hit my macros, get the number of grams of protein in that I'm trying to get. So when it comes to protein powders, we have three basic groups. So we have whey protein powder, beef isolate protein powder, and then different vegetable sources, which are mixed and matched. And if you look at the research behind protein, clearly there is more research on whey than anything else. Whey has really good results because whey has a high amount of leucine. Leucine is a specific amino acid, essential branch chain amino acid, and you need a certain amount of leucine in order to trigger what's called muscle protein synthesis. And our goal in consuming protein is manyfold, but one of them is to trigger muscle protein synthesis. And so you need 2.5 grams of leucine specifically, and all the other amino acids too. But you need 2.5 grams of leucine specifically to trigger muscle protein synthesis. Whey has a high amount of leucine from a ratio perspective, so it has 3 grams on average per 20 grams. The other protein sources tend to be lower, and we're going to get into that. The challenge then with whey, though, is that not everyone can tolerate whey because dairy proteins can be inflammatory. Although whey is not likely to be the cause, sometimes it is. So this is something that we actually test. The challenge, again, I have with whey, though, is that if you don't tolerate certain dairy proteins, like lactose, for example, which is actually a sugar, but if you don't tolerate lactose, you generally know, right? You have gas, you have bloating, you don't feel good right when you consume dairy. But some of the proteins in dairy, when they are not tolerated by the immune system, are a little bit more insidious in nature, meaning that you don't actually feel any different. You might have low-lying inflammation, you might have some other symptoms like acne, or you might have some gut dysfunction. You might have just not feeling well, not sleeping well. All of these sort of low-level chronic, just smoldering inflammation. And sometimes dairy proteins can do that. So the challenge with whey then is, how do we know? Well, we test it in patients where we're concerned about it, and we have been recommending alternatives to whey with an assumption that they had more leucine than I think that they do, and I'm going to show you that. So the alternatives then, if we're talking about different types of protein powder, again, there's beef isolate, and then there's different vegetable sources. So I'm not going to talk a lot about the veggie sources, but I just want to mention why they're not my favorite. So in general, vegetable sources of protein are incomplete proteins, right? So we know that we need all of the essential amino acids in order to trigger muscle protein synthesis for us to do what we want to do with that protein. And if we look at vegetable sources of protein, even some that are complete amino acids like pea, like soy, when you take into account the digestibility and absorbability of these proteins, then the effectiveness, the efficaciousness of these proteins is reduced. And that could be due to some of the other components in the actual plants themselves, like the oxalates, trypsin inhibitors, tannins, phytates, etc. When you put all of that together, they just become not my favorite source. Now, they are a source and you can use them. You just have to understand that you probably need to overshoot your protein needs if you're going to get most of your protein from plants. So then what's left, and what was my favorite protein source, which is no longer true, is the beef isolates. So before I get into the controversy here, if you're struggling to put together your own bone health program, please come join us in our masterclass because we talk about the common myths, misconceptions. Hopefully you could find some nuggets here that can help you on your journey. And we also have a live Q&A, give you an opportunity to ask me some questions. Okay, so let's talk about the controversy. To lay the groundwork for this, let me just tell you what beef isolate is. It's not actually very well defined. And my assumption when someone says that they have a protein powder that's made from beef is that it would be made from beef. And beef to me means muscle meat. In fact, I even looked this up to see if I was maybe just confused on the definition here. But no, beef means muscle. Okay. So turns out that these companies are not using the term beef really to mean muscle as much as they are to say it might have something to do with muscle. So the product that I've been recommending is from a company called Equip. Their product is called Prime Protein. And I like it because the macros are awesome. It has 21 grams of protein per 25 gram scoop, 2 grams of carbs, less than 1 gram of fat. You can make it into whatever you want, and it's going to have adequate protein, which is great. The ingredients are clean. It has grass-fed beef protein, cocoa powder, and stevia. And as long as you're okay with stevia, that's great. So there's not a lot there not to like, except that I was doing a post on Instagram and one of my friends said to me, she's like, gosh, did you know that this didn't have the adequate leucine in it? Did you know that this isn't going to trigger muscle protein synthesis? And I thought, well, that can't be true because beef has a high amount of leucine in it. That's why we recommend consuming red meat, because it has adequate leucine to trigger muscle protein synthesis. And she said, no, actually, this is made from cow hide. And I thought, man, that would be very misleading if that were true. So instead of just taking her word for it and bringing it out to you, I wanted to talk to the company because we have a good relationship with companies that we work with and have, and we generally recommend. So we've generally vetted these things. And I did vet the company, but I missed something here, and I'm going to tell you about it. So we went to talk to the company, sent them some emails, and they were very open with their source of protein as well as the amino acid profile. And now, to be fair, and I'm going to apologize here because the amino acid profile, if you dig into the Q&A on their website, the amino acid profile is actually publicly available. So kudos to them for putting it out there. Now, it wasn't easy to find, but it is out there. And sadly, I think I've probably influenced people to use this type of product rather than whey because I had assumed that it comes from meat, and it doesn't really come from meat. I'll give you those details in a second. My goal is always to help people to build muscle and bone, and I think that I have been misleading them here because after we reached out to Equip, after we had this information, I realized that we were really missing something. And so the amino acid profile, which I have listed here, you can see that it is a complete protein. So it has all of the essential amino acids, as would any product from an animal source. But when you look at the leucine content, it's less than 1 gram per 20 gram serving. So I mentioned earlier that we need 2.5 grams. So unless you used 3 servings of this, and then you'd have 60 plus grams of protein, unless you use a whole lot of it, you're not going to have adequate leucine. And the leucine content of this product compared to, let's say, even pea protein, which is around 2 grams per 20 gram serving, not even close to whey, which is, again, usually around 3. So that leucine at 0.9 grams is just going to be inadequate to trigger muscle protein synthesis unless you're adding additional leucine to it, like an EAA powder or something like that, which would be a weird flavor combination. Not that you can't do it. Actually, I'll talk to you about how I use this product now. But it's similar more to the complete proteins in, say, bone broth or collagen, where they're leucine poor, but they are a source of essential amino acids. They are a source of protein. And I do recommend people consuming them, but they shouldn't be the primary protein source that they're trying to use to improve their muscle. Does that make sense? Okay, so then when I learned this about the amino acid profile, I said, oh my gosh, how is this possible? And what is this made out of? What am I missing here? And so this is their response, and I'm just going to read it word for word. They said that Equip's Prime Protein is derived from grass-fed beef using a blend of bones and adhering muscle meat. The protein is processed through thermal and mechanical methods utilizing a, quote, low and slow, end quote, cooking approach to preserve its nutrients. Rest assured, cowhide is not used in our products. So, okay, it answers the cowhide question. So there is no skin in the game, pun intended. However, it's mostly bone. Because if you've ever seen an animal processed, if you've ever hunted and processed an animal, you take the meat off, you know that what's left on the bones, yes, there is some adhering muscle meat, but it's not very much muscle, right? This is tendon and ligaments, and there's just not a lot of muscle left. So I think, what they're using is the remnant of the processing. And honestly, I'm fine with that because I like the idea that if we're going to take a life to feed a life, then we should use every bit of that animal. So I totally agree with that process. But the challenge I have here is that I think the marketing is just misleading. And I've actually seen, since I learned this, I've actually seen some additional posts about this of people who are using some pretty, we'll call it some pretty harsh terms here. But I'm just going to call it misleading. And I understand that marketing is marketing, and we want to steer people into using our product if we think that our product is really good for them. So I'm not going to call them out and say that this is fraud or, this is deceptive. I think it's just misleading because we're calling it beef isolate, and beef to me means muscle, but really this is mostly bone. So this is sort of like, this is a flavored bone powder, to call it what it is. Doesn't mean that it's not valuable. There is value in it, but it shouldn't be our primary protein source. So then how do I use it? So now I look at this and I say, okay, this is very much like the collagen that I was eating. So we know that collagen has benefit. This still has benefit. So now I'm adding it to a whey product because I do tolerate whey. And I have a bunch of different whey products. I'm not going to list any here because we're actually still compiling a list of all of our favorite protein powders now, and we're looking at all the amino acid profiles before we release that. But any good whey product that's clean, that's a whey protein isolate, is going to have that 3 to 3.5 grams of leucine per serving. So I've gone back to using that, and then I'm adding this in addition to that. So it helps me to get that 40, 50 grams per serving of protein, which is what I'm aiming for. It might not be what you're aiming for. And so I'm adding it in. I'm still using it. I have like 4 bags of this stuff at home, so it's going to take me a long time to get through that, 1 scoop at a time. But I'm still going to use it because I don't like to throw away supplements, powders, anything. I just think it's wasteful, and I don't want to do that. So hopefully you can find a way to use it if you purchased it based off of my recommendations or others. So again, sorry about that. Now, if you are looking for the best protein powder and you are confused about what you're seeing on the internet and marketing, and now you're even more worried about marketing strategies, what I would consider you to do is join our community called the Osteo Collective. So this is where when we have information like this, like I brought this forward to them 2 weeks ago, we can then also very quickly follow with some recommendations. And in that community, you have access to some of our team members, a live Q&A, and we have all of these different resources. And when we have this list compiled, we are going to put this in that resource list for our Osteo Collective community members. And so if you're interested in joining that, you can look for the link in the description here on YouTube, or go to www.osteocollective.com. There's no "the" before it. So osteocollective.com, and then you can get access to all those resources. Okay, so wrap this up. Protein powders are sometimes a necessary. I don't want to call them a necessary evil. They are just necessary to hit our adequate protein goals. And if we're going to consume a protein powder, we want to make sure that it has adequate leucine. And I have been fooled by the marketing around beef isolate. And again, I apologize about that. I will be more thorough in the future. So we're going to course correct. Use whey if you can, is my recommendation. If you can't use whey, there are some like pea and pumpkin protein powders. Again, we're putting this list together, so we'll bring more and more of that. You can follow me on Instagram, where I put some of these like shorter clips together. And then let's continue to make sure we're getting adequate protein and using protein powders as needed from a good source. So if this made sense to you and you're looking for more information, you could consider one of these 2 videos to help you on your journey. And remember that a diagnosis of osteoporosis isn't the end, but deciding to reverse it is a beginning. I'll see you in the next video.